everyone. My name is Sharon C. Jenkins, and I am the host of 40 Plus and Flirty. I want to invite you to go on a little journey with Miss Meka Diamond and myself today. She is an awesome strategist and entrepreneur. And let me tell you a little bit more about her. She is a transformational leader in entrepreneurship, branding, and community servant. When you look at Mika, you see the true definition of servant leadership. As CEO of the Zabel Evidence Consulting Firm and MD Inc. Academy, she empowers entrepreneurs to achieve consistent 10K months through strategic coaching and branding solutions. Welcome, 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 Mika.
Thank you. I feel like the crowd is roaring.
Actually, they should be. Matter of fact, they might need to bow a knee or something. You know what I mean? Because we are talking to royalty, branding, and entrepreneurial royalty. So, we may not be wearing the tiaras and the crowns, but baby,
They
we
here.
are
They
royalty.
are they here.
So, my first question for you today is, you built a powerful global brand and dedicated your life to service.
Mm.
How do you personally define balance when it
Wow.
comes to love and business?
Well, I'll have so let me just break it down for you, right? I have been married before, and in my original marriage, um, I without having a model, I'm gonna just say that, without having a blueprint of how marriage is supposed to be, I was just submissive to my husband at the time. And so I put my career, things that I wanted to do, on the back burner, right?
Mhm.
So when the relationship went in another direction, I was on a strive of finding who I was, right, during that particular time. Not only that, but I had to realize I was in tunnel vision. All the things that I had put on the back burner, all the things that I had let subside and just swept it up underneath the rug during the time of marriage, when I was free, I literally was free. And so I'll be honest, it took a lot for me to understand balance, because at that time, at that particular time, I'll be honest, I was selfish with me. I was selfish with my time. I was selfish with wanting to make sure that I wasn't sidetracked, or I didn't go back into a rut like I was previously. So I found balance by understanding, okay, even though going dating and getting into these relationships, they may not know everything you have on the calendar, but if they know enough, right? Because I had this hard heart, like, okay, if you don't know what I'm doing and you can't assist me with what I'm doing, we are not meant to be together, right? And so until you get lonely, you get lonely. You're chasing a dream, but you're seeking companionship. You're chasing the money, but then you want that downtime of just going to the movie, holding somebody's hand. And so I found balance because I had to understand that this is not the life you want to live for the rest of your life. So you have to pull back some of your own layers and say, okay, it's time for me to put myself in position to find someone that will be equally yoked with myself and my business and all the things that I want to do.
Oh, that is powerful. So, my next question is this:
Mhm.
as a successful entrepreneur and media personality, what boundaries or systems have you put in place to protect your peace and your partnerships?
Ooh, that's a good one, honey. Because let me tell you, being in those selfish years, you don't want to have to answer and say no, right? You've been doing the yeses for so long, and what you want to do and how you want to maneuver and where you want to go and what you want to invest your time in. And so to be able to be in a space that now you have to check the calendar. What do we have planned for the week? What are you doing? Do you have something planned for us? And then not only that, but trying to make sure that I have balance in my yeses and my nos, because now that I have a significant other, I can't say I can attend everything, right? Um,
Mhm.
I can't put myself, and being a media personality, you are bringing exposure to a lot of things. I MC a lot of events. So, which means that when I'm going to things in public, a lot of people see me. A lot of them want to have conversations. And
Mhm.
although these are great things, however, I did have my significant tell me one day, can you just take Meka Diamond off for a second and we just go to dinner? Can you just sit at the table and just not make it a moment? And so these
Oh,
are reminders. And so when you get into a relationship and you are in a position and you've been working and you've been doing things yourself for so long, it's a hard balance. It's a hard balance. But after you've had enough communication about it, and you have to say, you know what, this is worth more than the moment of an event. This is worth more. I want more within my relationship. I want the what I was seeking, and I had to create those boundaries in order to sustain even being in a relationship, to have balance.
it just seems that we are going at a pace that is so much faster
Mhm,
than our grandparents and parents.
mhm,
And a lot of times, not accomplishing as much as they did by
mhm,
taking life one day at a time. So I just commend you for being deliberate and intentional about seeking balance between your relationships and your business. Now,
mhm.
you've written this wonderful book called Diamond in the Rough. Tell us a little bit about it.
So Diamond in the Rough started from my initial separation and divorce, right? It started with me finding myself. I was suicidal at that time. There were a
Mm.
lot of things that took place at that time that I was battling, right? And when they say, the Lord is your best friend, I found my best friend during that time. And my reasoning is because what I was going through, I didn't trust a lot of people with having communication. I didn't want to go outside in public. And so I wrote this book. And when I was going through that, the Lord told me, I was driving in at the car at the time, it was I can't even remember, a Verano, a Buick Verano. And as I was driving, the Lord said, you're gonna speak in a room with full of women and you're gonna tell your story. And during that time, I was like, oh no, I've already swept this up underneath the rug and I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the embarrassment of it. I don't want to deal with the shame of it. I have gotten beyond those moments. And so every chapter of that book, when I finally said yes during the pandemic, I was laying on the couch and God said, the time is now. And I was obedient in that. And I sat and I wrote this book. And literally, I sat for 5 hours writing and just writing and writing and writing. And after I started reviewing the chapters, I realized each chapter of my book, I lost something, but I gained something more. So you
Oh,
can see how I navigated from one chapter to the next, the loss of friendships, the loss of business relationships, dating, all of these different things, they had to take place, loss of jobs, all of those different things. They had to take place in order for me to get to the next chapter. And so that's my book. And I said, people ask me, well, Mika, did you put it on Amazon? Did you want to be Amazon's bestseller? And when I first wrote it, I said, you know what? That's not my goal or my focus. My focus is for somebody to see themselves within these chapters and be different because they read my book. And so I sold 200 copies within the first 60 days. It was in broken
oh.
bookstores. I mean, it just really did. And I said, Lord, you knew my heart before anything else, and that's why it moved as quickly as it did, and then also changing some perspectives of some people that read the book.
I even had a couch experience. There was a season in my life where facing getting older was
Mm,
difficult for me. And so I just figured, like my ancestors, when
mm,
you get a certain age, you just retire, you stop. you stop everything. And
Mhm.
so I was laying on the couch, just, being the sad, complicated me. And I heard the Spirit of the Lord say to me, I did not save you to be a couch potato.
Mm.
So I understand about those couches and the revelation that you get. You're in this quiet place
Mm.
and God empowers you to do the things that sometimes you perceive to or never even conceived.
Mm.
And they may seem impossible to us, but he gives us that strength and courage he talks about in Joshua.
Mhm. Yes.
So, my next question, when pursuing purpose at full throttle,
Mhm.
how can a woman avoid neglecting her personal needs for connection and companionship?
Well, my story is a little different, right? Because I felt like I was Ruth. I was just working in the garden, and he just showed up, right? Um, and so my story is a little different. So I can't say honestly that I made my decision to balance at that time. I just knew what I needed. I knew that I wanted what I wanted. I knew what my desire was. And so it hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, okay, like now you have this person that has a need, right? They have a need. And so all of these things that you were putting on the back burner because you were out here hustling, you're out here, trying to build your empire and all of these different things. Now you have somebody else to consider with doing that. And so I really didn't at one time prior to my relationship, I really didn't know what I needed. I thought my need was as long as I kept running, as long as
Mhm,
I kept pursuing, that was satisfaction for me. So I didn't really realize until I settled and made the decision. I made the conscious decision to say, you know what? When the money is gone, if it runs out, you gotta live life. And as we look now, like life is just not long as it used to be, right?
mhm,
And so I had to make the decision that I have to live life. So I had to set those boundaries because at the end of the day, if the Lord says tonight is my night, I
mhm,
want to have a record that I enjoyed life, the time that I had to spend here, whether it be with a significant other or whether it be by myself. I
mhm,
enjoyed and I took, I seize the moments of different things. If I just want to binge watch TV or binge watch shows or whatever the case may be,
mhm,
that's a pause out of the world and everyday life. And so like I said, mine was different. I made a choice, and it just so happened to be a blessing that I have a significant other that assists me in those choices because I don't have to think of certain things. He can say,
mhm.
"Let's go to dinner," or "Let's go. What are we doing tonight?" And I'm thinking, "I'm gonna be on Zooms all night." No, you're not.
Uh-huh. I get it. I get it. Excuse me. Now, how do you discern if someone is aligned with your values and calling, especially when you're in the public eye?
Very good question. Very good question. So again, I mean, my whole life, I shouldn't say my whole life, my 30s to my 40s, right? It was trial and error in a lot of different things. And so when you keep bumping your head up against the wall, doing the same things, at one point in time, you got to say, okay, Lord, now what am I missing? Like, what are you showing me? Because apparently I'm not getting it. And
Mhm,
so one of the things that because I have went through so many things, because for myself, even in business, my heart is I want others to succeed. My
mhm,
heart is I want to take you along with me. And I got into a lot of situations where I was trying to hold on to things, people, places, and things that God was separating me from. We say our prayers, and I say my prayers every night. I'm like, Lord, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. And if it's coming my way, let me see it. Let me discern who it is, what it is. And so after I continued to pray and actually honor the prayers and
mhm,
listening to the whispers of God, and when He would show me specific things, I end up being more cautious in my pursuit of permission. So now I'm
Mm.
so quick to make decisions. I'm going to ask Lord, okay, Lord, this person has come to me and they've asked me for specific things. Now you know the plans that you have for me. Is this somebody that I need to be aligned with? And it may not be for a lifetime, it may be for a moment. And you just seize the moment of what that specific time is that the Lord has given you. And then you just move forward. So that's what I do. I'm in pursuit of permission. I'm asking. Because if not, I'm going to bump my head again and it hurts.
It sure does. Okay. How do you handle seasons of loneliness or waiting while building a kingdom focused life?
Oh, wow. I had a scenario, a life situation that I feel to this day, at this very moment, that the Lord had me in that season um, because He really wanted me to learn the lessons within that season and then understand that regardless of what it looked like or felt like, His hand was still on it. What
Mm,
that season taught me was in the loneliness to seek Him when I was feeling a certain type of way, to see what was around me and be appreciative of those things. I learned how to be patient.
mhm,
I learned to be faithful. I
mhm,
learned how, even when I didn't feel good, to stay focused on this was a God thing and not a Mika thing. And so, through that time of being lonely, for whatever reason, the key would not turn the way that I wanted the key to turn. However, there was lessons within that season that the Lord had to show me in order for me to get to who was coming that I never knew was coming. And so I'm grateful for that season because it also taught me how to be patient. It taught me to recognize some of the things from my previous marriage that I had grew from. It
mm.
assisted me with understanding how to be a wife, how to be a significant other. All of those different things happened during that time to prepare me for what God had coming. So that's why I said when I was working, I was really working when He popped up.
Well, you know what? What we forget sometimes, Mika, is that, God created the earth and the heavens and everything in 6 days. And in the seventh day, he rested. I
Mhm,
believe that there are seasons in our lives when we have a Sabbath rest.
mhm.
Yes.
Oh,
And
that's good.
because of our culture, we see it as something bad, when in essence, God is preparing us for our next level blessing. And we're going to need to be ready when we're at the starting gate
Mhm,
and they shoot that gun for us to move forward. We're
mhm.
going to need to be ready for that. But there's preparation that helps us to get ready for that.
Very much so. Very well said. I saw it with my own eyes. Don't feel good, though, Miss Sharon. It does not
Oh
feel
God, no.
However, when you come out of it, you can look back at it and say, you know what? Okay, Lord, I understand. I understand what you was doing. I understand. I grew so much. And when I say I grew closer to God. I grew, I learned so much within that time frame. So I'm grateful for it.
Oh, that's huge. For other high achieving women looking for love, what are your non negotiables and your best advice? When I talked to Bishop Greg Davis, he talked about non negotiables,
Mhm,
how it is so important for us to establish those. So,
mhm.
what are yours?
My non-negotiables because of my life's transitions is that I'm never going to demote who I truly am.
Mm,
I'm going to go into it. If I say yes, I'm going to go into it with both feet in. But I'm not going to demote who I am. You're going to have to love all parts of me and not just take the bits and pieces that feel good, that you feel good about. So, non negotiables for me, and because of being in that position where I did it, that's a non negotiable for me. A non negotiable for me is someone who not supportive And when I say supportive, I want to be very clear. I honestly feel that the husband or your significant should be the farmer. They should plant the seeds in the garden,
Mm,
and the women, significant others, wives, we nurture those seeds in order for those seeds to grow. I should feel that my significant other can plant those seeds. And I should feel as a the gardener that I can nurture those seeds to grow. So for me, the non-negotiables is to trust that you're going to make sound decisions. And even if they aren't sound decisions, we're going to work through them. Not anybody who's going to belittle me as a woman, belittle my voice where I can't speak. And then just try to take away the things that I love to do. I feel like when you bring two people together, there are some things you grew up in two different households. There are some things you love that I don't. There's a
mhm.
I love that you don't. However, we can come to some type of common ground that we both can enjoy, some of those things. So non-negotiables for me, for one, is not demoting who I am, not
Mm.
taking away the things that I love, and then just being supportive of the things that I'm involved in. So for me, those are non-negotiables.
Oh, that is huge. My last question is this. Your model speaks of being a good investment by kingdom building. How do you see love and partnership contributing to that mission?
Mhm. So for one, God is love, right? He didn't put us on earth for us to hate each other. And I honestly believe that I'm gonna go so much further when I have a husband, right?
Mhm,
I feel that I'm doing great, but I'm so excited about what we're gonna be able to do together, right?
mhm,
Plus, the saying is two heads are better than one. So hopefully we can put these two heads. So for kingdom building, ministry together, I love community service. I love to serve. To have it significant on the side of me, just enjoying it just as much as I have. That's kingdom building. That's ministry for us. And so I feel like you have to have balance. I dated a preach. We're not gonna get into that. However, I understand what ministry is, and I do believe that when you have the other, and when you do it in the way that God has already ordained it to be, you can go so much further. So for me, that's kingdom building, building in the household, nurturing kids, serving the community, doing ministry work, pouring into people. May not be a married couple, but it may be a single person. It may be somebody who's recently divorced. That's kingdom
mhm.
work for me. And so I feel like that's why we're an investment in the earth. God did not just make us just to be here and not kingdom build. And so for me that's something that I'm very, very that's something that's very important to me.
So we talked about a lot today. My, I have a inquiring question. I said that was my last question, but I thought of something
Right?
else
Coming.
because you're such a great wealth.
Mhm,
Not only when we see you do we see wealth,
mhm,
but we also receive it.
mhm.
So, what wealthy admonition would you leave with the participants who are viewing your particular talk?
Oh wow. Well, I'll leave that life does life. Situations does happen. But I encourage you to look at it from a spiritual standpoint. Sometimes we have to pull back the layers of ourselves and be authentic. I tell people be naked before God because He already knows. So be your authentic self. Sometimes those self evaluations may make you change some things about yourself. You're looking for specific things. It may be materials, it may be somebody to take care of you, all of those different things. And you may be taking the marathon route when it's just a sprint, right? So I
Mm,
tell people, and even myself, I had to reevaluate who I was. I had to pull back those layers and say, you know what? If you want to get out of this situation of you not having it significant, you're gonna have to give up some stuff, right? You're gonna have to let some things go. So I would say, just look at yourself. Look at yourself. Those non-negotiables, make sure that they make sense. We're not talking about he got to be tall with good hair or she got to be a yellow bone with a nice body. Like, let's talk about some real things, some life things. And so, if you have to peel back those layers about yourself, write down some things about you that need to change, that you can do better at. Because one of the things that you can get into a relationship if you are not if your mindset is on materialistic things or things of that nature. So it worked for me. It worked for me. I was looking for a companion. I didn't know that it was going to come. However, I had to learn those lessons. And then lastly, listen to God. If God is telling you no, that's a solid no.
Mhm,
Leave it where it is and keep it moving because something is coming, and you
mhm.
may be prolonging it because you're stuck in a situation or you're stuck in a place of wanting so much. I want this, I want that. So, if I can leave anything, I would leave that.
Praise God. Thank you so much,
You're
Mika,
welcome.
for sharing your journey with us and being authentic and transparent. What a gift you've given us. So, how can our viewers, our listeners, contact you? How can they reach out and touch Miss Mika Diamond so they can shine?
Go ahead and look me up on Google and you'll find. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But you can find me under Meka Diamond Inc. on all of your social media platforms. On YouTube, I'm Meka Diamond Media. You can catch some of my previous radio shows as well as some new ones. But I would think that that'll be the best way to find me on all social media platforms as Meka Diamond Inc. And that's
Are there?
INC.
Okay. All right. Are there any new projects we can look forward to?
Absolutely. So I do have a day in the city of Houston titled Mika Day that's on November the 15th. It's actually my brother's birthday, who's deceased. I honor families. I've given over 3,000 meals to families who are in need during the Thanksgiving holiday. And so the event, this is my 10th year having the event, November the 15th. So I am looking for volunteers, those who want to sponsor, support the event. It will be such a blessing. One of the things that I shared, even in ministry, doing kingdom business, is giving back and serving the community. So that's November the 15th. If anybody wants to volunteer or be a part of that event, I would love to have you.
Thank you so much, Miss Mika Diamond, for
You're so
shining
welcome.
bright. I love it. Well, viewers, as you can see, we have awesome speakers, and there's more to come, and you don't want to miss it. Remember, I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. And I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.